Good morning, First Church, or afternoon or evening. If you don't know me, I'm Sarah Shimanek. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a member of the Board of Social Justice and Outreach. This October, our board is asking you to focus inward on your own mental health, specifically on self-care techniques. But first, what is self-care? Basically, it means taking actions that improve your health and well-being. And why is it important? It's important because you have to take care of yourself before you take care of others. Often we put ourselves last because we feel guilty, because there's others to take care of, or other things we feel like we need to do first. But the truth is, if we take care of ourselves first, we have so much more to offer because we're healthier and we have more energy. And one last thing before we get into the details of how to implement self-care. In our church, we care deeply about social justice. This is because we feel God created everyone equally and that everyone is equally deserving of love. I'm here to tell you that also includes you. You are deserving of love. So, with that said, how do we take care of ourselves? There are 4 key pillars of health: sleep, exercise, nutrition, and stress management. We're going to take them one at a time, discussing the importance and how to improve your health in each area. All 4 are extremely important for both your physical and mental health and are the best place to start if you're feeling run down, tired, or just have a general lack of energy and motivation. But just a quick disclaimer, this presentation is not meant to be a replacement for medical advice. If you have any specific health concerns, please consult your doctor. So our first topic is sleep. Getting good sleep is essential for our well-being and physical and mental health. As adults, we need between 7 to 9 hours each night. If you're over 65, it's actually 7 to 8. That means we each have an amount of sleep that we need that's likely within that range. So some of us might need 7, others may need 9. You know who you are. Signs you're not getting enough sleep or not getting good quality sleep are having a hard time falling asleep, waking frequently at night, or if you're sleepy during the day. The main key to getting good sleep is having a solid routine. So that means waking at the same time every day, even on weekends and holidays, and making sure you go to bed early enough to get your 7, 8, or even 9 hours. Before bed, you also want to do the same things in the same order, and that signals to your body that it's time for bed. You also want to keep your bed reserved only for sleep and sex. Another tip is to avoid screens at least 30 minutes before bed, to try to not eat or drink late in the evenings, and avoid alcohol before bed. You also want to avoid caffeine in the afternoons or later. If you're having trouble falling asleep or having trouble returning to sleep after waking in the middle of the night, you might want to try mindful breathing. So how we do this is you draw your focus only to your breath and you notice your breath going in and out. How does it feel? Where does it go? If you notice your mind wandering away from your breath, that's okay. Just notice your thoughts and try to bring them back to your breath. Another option for falling asleep is a guided meditation that's geared towards sleep. My favorite app is Insight Timer. There's hundreds of free meditations and you can choose a category such as sleep. The most important thing is to make sleep a priority. Work should not take priority over sleep. Next up is exercise. Exercise is time and again proven to help with just about any physical or mental ailment we might have. It helps with low back pain, anxiety and depression, chronic pain or illness, autoimmune disorders, and so much more. But it's something that a lot of us really struggle with fitting into our day. So I'm going to tell you the general recommendations for exercise, but I'm also going to tell you not to get too stressed about meeting them exactly, especially if you're just getting started. It's also always a good idea to talk to your doctor before beginning a new exercise program. If exercise is not currently part of your routine, I'd suggest that you start with taking 1 to 2 short walks during your day. 10 to 15 minutes is good at first. As you get used to it, you can slowly build up to more. Once that's part of your routine, you can look at adding some kind of strength and flexibility exercise. I know we can get busy and time can get short, but exercise really doesn't have to be so time consuming. 2 10 to 15 minute walks every day, and 2 20-minute exercise videos every week that are focused on that strength and flexibility can really keep you very strong and healthy. Let's go over the overall recommendations for exercise, though, that come from the American College of Sports Medicine and the American Heart Association. It's basically 150 minutes of cardiovascular exercise each week. That could be a brisk walk for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. In addition, they recommend 2 days of strength, flexibility, and functional exercise training. So that could be lifting weights and stretching, doing body weight exercises and stretching, or doing an online or in-person class such as yoga, Pilates, or Tai Chi. The most important thing is to really pick something you may enjoy so that you'll actually stick to it. And whatever you choose, start small and work your way up to more. And if you have pain, please consult a physical therapist as to the best way forward. If you just don't know where to start, a few sessions of personal training may be a good fit for you. Both PT and personal training should be offering virtual sessions right now if needed. Otherwise, YouTube has millions of options for fitness videos for you to choose from. Pinterest is another good resource for basic workout plans. And there's quite a few outdoor exercise classes going on right now all around Long Beach. So check in with your local fitness studio, look on Nextdoor, or just try Google for resources nearby to your area. So our next topic is nutrition. I feel like this is such a hot topic these days. Everywhere you look, you find someone that has a different opinion about the best diet for your health. Keto, vegan, Whole30, intermittent fasting, juice cleanses, whatever. Many of which are really contradictory. And you can also find hundreds of companies looking to sell you supplements. It can really just leave your head spinning. The truth is, unless you have underlying health problems, the basics of good nutrition are really pretty simple. You want to eat whole, unprocessed foods, eat mostly plant-based with plenty of fruits and vegetables, whole grains and legumes, and just the occasional lean animal protein such as chicken or fish, unless you're avoiding it for ethical reasons. You also want to avoid artificial sweeteners and sugar, and limit alcohol and caffeine to moderate consumption. That's really it, but that's easy to say. So what does that actually look like? The specific guidelines we'll go over first, and then we'll talk about an example. So you should get 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit, 2.5 to 3 cups of vegetables, 3 to 6 ounces of grains, and at least half of that should be whole grains, and 6 ounces of protein. And then no more than 5 to 6 teaspoons of fat, avoiding fats that are solid at room temperature, like butter and shortening. You don't need dairy, but if you do consume it, you want to limit it to 1 to 2 cups daily. But just a little bit on that note, be aware that 65% of the world's population after infancy is lactose intolerant, and that it can present itself at any age. So if you experience gas or bloating after eating dairy, you might want to avoid it altogether. Otherwise, enjoy your milk and cheese, just in moderation. Now that we've reviewed the specific guidelines, let's look at what that really means. So an example day that meets the guidelines would be breakfast of 2 eggs and sweet potato hash and a cup of mixed berries, lunch of a Southwest salad with optional chicken, a snack of 1 cup of grapes, and dinner could be a black bean or turkey burger on a whole wheat bun served with roasted carrots and green beans. Sounds pretty good. The most important thing really is to eat enough vegetables, which is easiest if you incorporate them in all 3 meals a day. You want to eat a variety of different vegetables of all different colors. Our American diets tend to include too many refined grains, meat, and dairy, so instead you want to consume smaller amounts of those items and replace it with fruits and vegetables. You want to avoid the inside aisles of the grocery store and limit eating out. But when you do eat out, at least try to make healthy choices and limit your portions. You'll really notice that you start gaining energy when you limit sugar and refined grains and start eating more vegetables. Our last topic is stress management. We can't completely eliminate stressful situations from our lives, but we can find ways to make them more manageable. Unmanaged stress can have extensive physical and mental health complications. So let's go over a few ways to manage stress. Perhaps the most important one is to set aside time to take care of yourself. So if you have a partner or kids, this might mean working out an arrangement so that you each have a dedicated me time, whether that's every day or every week. If that's really difficult to do, then you at least take the time that you do have to focus on active self-care instead of mindless zoning out time. You want to schedule and prioritize that time for yourself. During this time that you set aside, pick something that you really enjoy doing, something that makes you happy. For me, that's playing the piano and singing, doing yoga, hiking, or reading a good fiction book. Other ideas could be walking in nature, doing puzzles, gardening, painting, coloring, drawing, and anything outdoors can be good. But the most important thing is that it's something that you love. Another stress management technique is to make lists of things so that you don't have to keep them in your head. Things like grocery lists, to-do lists, clothing sizes, schedules, all of that can be really overwhelming. Keep a notebook or use Alexa, Siri, or Google Home to keep track of these things so that you don't have to. Additionally, learn to say no. Let me repeat that. Learn to say no. Try to be aware of your physical and emotional limits and don't take on more than you can handle without stress. Regular spiritual practice can also be helpful. This could be prayer, meditation, reading of the Bible, or other spiritual texts. If this is new to you, a good place to start is with guided meditations. As I mentioned in the sleep section, my favorite app is called Insight Timer. It's free and has thousands of guided meditations. YouTube can also be a really good place to look, or any of a number of other meditation apps, including Headspace and Calm.com. Try out a few and see what you like. The last, but maybe easiest to implement and most effective technique is mindfulness. In the document linked in the Pilgrim, I describe quite a few different techniques, but I'll go over two of my favorites right now. The first is the 5 senses exercise. I like to do this when I'm on a walk, but you can do it anywhere, anytime, or any place. In this exercise, you first look around for 5 things you can see, then 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Try to really notice what your senses are experiencing as you do this, rather than just name the items. So if you see a tree, really look at the tree. What texture is the bark? What shape are the leaves? What colors do you see in it? If you feel the wind on your skin, what is that sensation like? Do your hairs stand up? Does it feel different on different parts of your skin? You get the idea. It's a really great exercise for grounding when you feel yourself getting wrapped up in the stresses of life and need to come back to the present. My other favorite, and this is one that also works well for kids, is the 5-finger breathing exercise. So you want to take the finger of your dominant hand and you run it up and down the fingers of your opposite hand. As you go up each finger, you take a breath in, and as you go down each finger, release your breath. This is good for calming down in the moment if you're feeling frustrated or upset. You can repeat as many times as needed. So you're going to go all the way through, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and in and out. And each time you come to the end of your 5 fingers, reassess your thoughts and see how you're feeling to decide if you need to do it again. Okay, that's our self-care basics lesson for today. Also in the Pilgrim is a link to a document that has more detail about all of these subjects if you want more information or you forget part of what I talked about and want a reference. Also in that document are resources for mental health, including links to Long Beach area resources and several hotlines for individuals in different types of crisis. If you're having difficulty completing your daily activities due to depression, anxiety, addiction, or other mental health concerns, please seek help from a trained mental health professional. Stay tuned for upcoming meditation and yoga videos as we continue our focus on self-care in October, and we'll have a forum on October 25th to talk about what self-care techniques work the best for each of us, or if you have your own techniques that you want to share, it's a great opportunity for that as well. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.